So we're gonna do a tier list for the 8 heroes that's in the game. I have almost 40 hours into the game. I have a pretty decent understanding of how each of the characters play. I've played each of them. So I'm going to rank them based off of the different phases in the game and what they're good at. So some characters are going to be better at the fight for the shield breaker. Some are going to be better in the advancement stage whenever they are advancing to the to plant the shield breaker, and some of them are just going to be better in the actual raid defend phase. So I'm going to consider all of that in this tier list. And so here we go. So first we're going to start off with Redmane. Redmane is apparently the least used character in the game right now. I think Redmane has the most potential. I think the Pounce is going to be really, really good and very difficult to deal with in the future. As of right now, people haven't really fleshed him out enough. I think Beast Roar is going to make him very, very oppressive when attacking. You should only use his ult whenever you're attacking or defending. Is going to open up so many passageways as you attack. Gains a movement and reload speed buff after killing enemies. That's going to stack like crazy. Not insane though, just because there's 3 people that you're playing against, right? So you will get the movement speed buff off of it, and plus people are finding bunny hops in the game, and that's really unlocking the movement. So I think Redmane has insane potential, but as of right now, until that potential is found, I have to be realistic. I think that he is exceptionally good when raiding and defending. I don't think that he is that great as of right now in the advanced stage. He's pretty good in the fights. There's some situations at the shield breaker to where you're able to just pounce and kind of get different angles that they wouldn't expect you to be at. So I think that he's really good in that sense. I'm going to put him at A for the time being. He'll probably stay there. I think he has a lot of potential. I would go B, but I think that his ult is really, really, really good. Whenever you're attacking. So we're going to put A for the time being. As I put more of these up here, I might move him down to B, but as of right now, I'm feeling A. Next, we got Condor. So pretty much any game like this, or any game at all, any game period, actually, the more information that you have, the better you're going to be in a PvP situation, right? Having more information is always going to help you, and Condor is the only character right now that really, really gives you information, right? With her eyes in the sky, she sends out the bird, which scans to detect enemies that move, which is really good. Condor's bird warns her when enemies are nearby. You'll see a little exclamation mark, and plus you'll also say a voice line saying that there's baddies around. I wish they stopped referring to everybody as baddies, but that's beside the point. And then Soaring Guardian, I think, is really, really good in team fights. I think it's really good. It combos very well with Scarlet's ult and also Attakus's ult. I think Condor is very, very good in this game. Since she is the one character that's going to give you information whenever others do not. And so because of that, I think that she is an S tier character. Not the best character in the game, but I definitely think that she's probably top 3 right now. I think she's really good. So right now we have Redmane at A and Condor at S. Next, Attakus. I think Attakus is oppressive. I think Attakus is really, really, really good. His shock spear controls angles incredibly well whenever you're attacking or whenever you're raiding and defending. I think his ult is the best ult in the game. There's been times whenever I will wipe out a team all by myself with Power Storm. It's like a 3-shot kill. I think it's good at any time that you can use it. There's been times whenever I was in that advanced stage and I would wipe out a team and be able to get control of the shield breaker with it. The shock spear is not great in that advanced stage, but it is really good in the shield breaker fight and whenever you're attacking and defending, or raiding and defending. I need to use the proper verbiage. I think Attakus is probably the best character in the game right now, just because the shock spear is really oppressive and it's really frustrating to deal with. and then Power Storm just being so strong. It's very similar to Scarlet's ult in a way, and plus he has this drip, which is, bro, don't even get me started on this drip, dude. It's so fire. But I think Attakus is probably the best character in the game right now. Others might disagree, but I think that the Shock Spear and his ult is just so good right now. So I think Attakus is probably the best character in the game right now. Next, we have Kai. So Kai is a raid machine. He is so good at raids and defending raids. Specifically, I mean, all three of his abilities work so well in those close quarter fights. The issue with the Frost Giant, though, is whenever you are in Frost Giant, you can't revive your teammates, you can't defuse a bomb, so on and so forth. So it's good. Frost Giant is really, really good with the caveat that your team stays alive. He's very bulky, but if it's 3v1, you're just going to die. Ice Wall is really good in pretty much any situation. You're building a wall and giving yourself something to hide behind, or use that to be able to get out of trouble and move to a different location. Give yourself free revives. There's a ton of utility with Ice Wall. It's really, really good. Frozen Repair is outstanding whenever you're defending. You can always restore broken walls, always. Instead of most characters, you have to have the wall rebuild item that you got to find. You don't have to. I think that moving forward, especially whenever competitive really starts going to, taking off and we get ranked and stuff like that, you'll probably see Kai in almost every single team, because he could just repair the walls with such ease. He's basically going to make all of your my God, it's going to make all of your raid weapons. Jesus, I can't think. He's going to make all of your raid weapons pretty much useless. And just because he can rebuild the wall that you destroy. I think Kai is really, really good. I think Kai is probably, honestly, the second best character in the game right now. I think Kai is extremely good. I would just say, if you're going to use Kai, you need to figure out when you need to use his ult, because his ult could be either really, really good, or it could actually be a hamper for your team. Because if you're in a 1v1 situation or a 1v2 situation and both of the opponents are hurt, they're low health, it's just better to try to kill them as Kai instead of going into Frost Giant, because you can't defuse in that situation, if that makes sense. So I think Kai is exceptionally good. I think his Ice Wall and his ability to rebuild is insane. I think that's so good. So I have him as the second best character right now, just behind Attakus, just because Attakus just controls so much during the raid defend stage, and plus the shield breaker fight. So this is what I think is the top three. The next character, there's going to be like a slight like, hey, maybe, maybe not. And that's going to be Scarlet. I think Scarlet is a PvP monster, right? I think the Sandstorm, being able to get out of situations, she's definitely kind of like your prototypical kind of like ninja, like in and out, kind of like engage and get out of the situation. You can kind of always keep yourself safe with the Sandstorm. There's also a speed boost whenever you go into stealth mode, and plus the shifting sands is really good to get into situations, and it kind of nullifies Kai's ability in a sense. The whirling blades is really, really good as well. With the daggers, as long as you're hitting your shots, you're always going to have it, and at 2 or 3 shots, pretty much everybody. I think Scarlet is really good. I think Scarlet could be in the argument for the third best character. If you're going to say that, then I won't debate you about it. I can absolutely understand where you're coming from. I think she's really, really good, and plus with the Sandstorm, she gets a temporary speed boost whenever she hits it, and with the new bunny hop tech that people are using and finding, she gets insane speed off of it. So I think that she is really good. I could listen to her being third best easily. I could definitely listen to that. and I won't argue with you, but right now I think that she's probably the fourth best just because getting that information is so good, and I think that Kai's ult can be so oppressive in some of these team fights whenever you're trying to plant the bomb. And then the ice wall is really good too. He just has so much utility. She is mostly just trying to put herself in 1v1 situations and give herself some flanks and stuff like that. She wants to be in 1v1 situations in a game to where you're not always going to have 1v1 situations. So I'm going to put her at 4 just because I think she's the best 1v1 character in the game. But other than that, I find the utility of these two and just Attakus's ability to control an entire portion of the map is just too good. So I'm putting her at 4, but I could listen to 3. I think it's hard to say that she's better than Kai, but I could listen to 3. All right. Next, we're just going to go ahead and go Mara. I think Mara is also really good. I think pretty much all of these characters are good. The soul armor that she gives you is outstanding. It basically gives you a tier up on your armor, because it just gives you that little bit of portion left. Not a full extra bar of armor, but it's like 3/4 of it. So it's really, really good. And then her immortal coil, creating a spawn point for your team. I mean, that's so good on attack and defense, and plus also in the shield breaker fights. It makes it to where you don't always have to go for the revive at all times, because they can just spawn close to you. I think it's really good. It can be destroyed, so it is your responsibility to put it in a location to where the other team isn't going to very clearly see it and just be able to destroy it for free. There are some people who use Immortal Coil and put it in really stupid spots, but there is situations where maybe you put it on the backside of the attack of the raid, like on the backside of the base, or put it in different areas where people are less likely to look. And I think it works really, really well for them. So I think Mara's really, really good. Getting the overshield obviously is going to be very good, but I feel like it's not really game changing like some of these others are. So I'm going to go ahead and put Mara in A, above Redmane for now. But I think that she's really, really good. I don't think that there's a way that she is in the same tier as these. I should actually put him in a tier of his own, but that's beside the point. I could actually do this. I could do bing, 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 and I can feel happy with that. Just because I think Attakus is so good right now. But Mara's really good. Mara's a great support character, kind of a standard support character that you'll find. But I think the thing that kind of puts her over, that could put her in the A conversation, is her ult. Just creating a new spawn point. I think that's really, really good. Especially, like I said, in the raids and defense, you're starting off so far away. Like, without it, you're having to zip line off or spawn at the tower, right, on attack. And then whenever you're defending, you're spawning pretty far away. Some of the bases, you're going to have some spawns that's relatively close, but it's not always guaranteed. So Mara nullifies that with her ult. So that's really, really good. Not enough to put her in A tier, but B tier, you should be happy with B tier with Mara. All right, next, Una. Una was the first character that I played in this game, and I think Una's bad. I think Una is bad. I feel like she's the one character that her abilities don't really work well together. They don't really have a place in the game as of right now, and I feel like it's kind of misplaced, right? Her helping hand, if I pick Una, 80% of the time that I'm doing helping hand, probably even more than that, probably 95% of the time that I'm doing the helping hand and I'm getting the loot from the spirit, it is extra like rockets and stuff like that, which could be very, very helpful. But if it was other things like maybe one of the items that's going to make you heal faster or revive faster rather, or something like that, even like weapons, like maybe like a 2% chance that it gives like a strong weapon or something like that. Typically it's either going to be rockets or it's going to be a gold level shield, which the gold level shield feels great because if you get it early on, like it's very difficult for them to kill you. That's really, really good. But my qualms with her isn't even with the helping hand, it's with the Forest Wisps and the Tree Walker. I think the Forest Wisps are good in a sense, right? If they aren't paying attention to them, the concussion grenades can be pretty rough to deal with. But it seems more like a quick flashbang than like an actual concussion grenade that you would see in other games like Call of Duty that actually hinders movement. It doesn't do that. All it does is flashbang you basically for a second, at least that I've noticed. The Tree Walker I feel like is probably the worst ult in the game. I think is what it's good at is it is good at destroying walls. Other than that, I feel like the area of effect for it that it throws the explosives isn't that large. It seems like you could just get out of its range relatively easily and just shoot it until it dies. I don't understand like the point of it really. Maybe in some really tight, close quarter situations, it might be pretty good, but it's relatively easy to deal with. I think it's the worst ult in the game. It's essentially useless in the advanced stage. It's relatively useless in the shield breaker fight. It is only good in the raid defend base stage. And good, I say that very, very loosely. I don't think it's that great. I think Una's probably the worst character in the game right now. Should have some balancing. I just wish that her toolkit felt like it had an actual purpose, whether it was there was some continuity to it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, okay, the concussion grenades, whatever, it takes 3 shots to kill those things. Who cares? The Tree Walker, whatever, you just stay outside the range. Now, if they dedicated it to maybe the Forest Wisps throw grenades at walls to destroy walls, I think that could be really, really, really good, and you would have to deal with it. I think the Tree Walker, if it was tankier, created a larger explosion, maybe that didn't do more damage, but it did create more of an area of effect for the actual explosives that it throws. I think that it could be pretty good, but as of right now, I feel like it's super underwhelming, and whether you're playing, if you're playing against somebody and their Una sets up a Tree Walker, it doesn't change the game like pretty much every other ult does. It doesn't change the way that you're going to approach things. You could still go in and plant the bomb, and you're going to take some damage, then you just get away from it. So I feel like the Tree Walker doesn't do enough right now. I think Una is the worst character in the game pretty easily. I'm putting her down in D tier. Lastly, Slade. I think Slade is good. I think what I've noticed from Slade, his issue is his Firestorm is kind of goofy, okay? There's a reason why I say that. So in the shield breaker fights, Firestorm is really, really good because it's going to force them to push back. It's going to force them to get out of position and maybe help your team advance. Firestorm in the advance stage is really, really good because whenever you're doing these long range fights, if it can dissuade people from approaching you, whether you're advancing with the shield breaker or if you are trying to advance on them with the shield breaker, it's going to force them to change how they're going to play. I think Firestorm is really, really good in that sense. However, on raid and defense, there are situations where Firestorm does nothing. Literally nothing. There's certain bases, such as in Smuggler's Den, if you put the Firestorm down in any area within where like the confines of the building, it's not going to hit anybody because it's just landing on top of the building. I know that from experience. I was like, okay, I'm going to drop the Firestorm so we can advance. And they're going to be they're going to push back because the Firestorm's going to be hitting them, or they're going to be weak and then it'll be easy for us to clean them up. We get in there and the Firestorm is just raining on the roof. Nothing else is happening. It's not going inside at all. It is literally just raining on the roof. So it's like I just wasted my ult. So I feel like in the attack or the raid and defense stage, it could be useless, virtually useless. Not always, But there's a lot of times whenever I feel like the Firestorm is useless in those situations, but it is really good in the Shieldbreaker fight, and it's really good in the advanced stage as well. Heat Wave, I think, is really, really good. I don't think it does enough damage to be that scared of it, and it takes a long time too, so you can just kind of reposition and get out of its way. But I still think it's good because it's still going to dictate kind of the pace of how the fight's going, the location of people. If you know somebody is definitely on this corner, you drop it down, and then they're going to have to get out of that corner, or they're just going to take a decent amount of damage. His firebomb, his grenade that he throws is also really good. It's deceptively large range. And so you just throw that, you see the fire expanding, and they have to get out of that situation because it's going to chonk them for big damage. I think Slade is really, really good, but the Firestorm being virtually useless in the most frequent, you're going to spend most of your time in the game doing the raid and defending, right? And since the Firestorm is basically useless on a fair amount of the bases that I've found, I think that it does decrease his value a little bit. So I think Slade is a B tier as well, but I think that he's probably just below Mara. And that's my opinion on the tier list of the characters. I think Attakus is very clearly the best character in the game. I think the Storm Spear is super oppressive. He gets 3 of them right off the bat, and he can cut off an entire approach with that, because whenever you're trying to go through a choke point, whenever you're attacking, and let's say the Attakus is defending and you're trying to attack, he could put 2 of those in that choke point, and you're going to be chunked for damage, and you're going to have to back up, or you're going to have to push through and put yourself in a bad situation. So, and plus his ult just snipes people. It hits so hard. It doesn't even have to be directly on the people. It has an area of effect whenever it lands, and it can do quite a bit of damage in that sense. Kai, the utility that Kai gives, his ult in team fights, as long as your team can stay alive and just assist you, it's game changing. It completely changes whenever you're raiding or defending. It completely changes. It can guarantee you a win in a team fight, especially if you plant, your whole team is up, the countdown's coming down, you know they're going to rush there to you. You pop your ult, your team just kind of stays back and just pops people as they show up, and you just go up and you just slam the ground. It is oppressive. It is very tough to deal with. Condor, really good because she's the only character that's feeding your team information, showing you where the other team is. Whenever she blows her whistle, forcing them to stop moving, or you're going to know exactly where they're at. That is so good in any situation in the game. That is really, really, really good. And her ult also combines very well with some of the better characters in the game. Attakus and Scarlet. Scarlet, her ability, she's the best 1v1er in the game. Her ability to get in and out of situations easily is really good. Her ult just picks people apart. Her ability to go through walls, open up the wall without actually having to damage it or anything else, is also really good on a raid whenever you're raiding and also defending. I feel like that's really good. Mara, her big thing is creating that ult. I feel like creating the ult is massive. I feel like giving a little bit of, or creating the spawn point with her ult. Being able to add some shield is a benefit, but her big thing is giving a close spawn point no matter what point of the game it is, whether it's the shield breaker fight, whether it's raid defending, whatever else. Her creating a spawn point that's easily accessible is really, really, really good. The area control that Slade can give is outstanding. I think he's a little bit better in the Stormbreaker or the Shieldbreaker fight. I don't know why I keep saying Stormbreaker. The Shieldbreaker fight or the advanced stage, I think he's really, really good. Redmane has a lot of potential. The more people explore with his pounce, he could easily go up. He could be very, very difficult to deal with. But as of right now, early on in the game, I feel like he is lacking just a little bit. His ult, destroying a ton of walls, is obviously going to be very, very, very good. And then Una just needs help. I'm kind of in the way. Una needs help in a bad way. I feel like her toolkit is very easy to deal with versus the rest of these. It's pretty oppressive in their own way. They're game changing. Hers doesn't really change much. Whenever she puts her ult down, you can just stay outside of the area of effect. Like literally, whenever I tell you that there is no fight that I think I've ever had in this game where I saw Una's ult and was like, I gotta approach this differently, which is so different from literally everybody else. And her little minions throwing the concussion grenades. The concussion grenades don't change much. It's a temporary flashbang, but they're also super easy to kill. It's like 3 or 4 shots and they're dead. So I feel like Una needs some help. But the rest of them, I feel like it's a super balanced game. I think the disparity between B and S isn't massive, but it is there. And I could see the argument of Mara going up to A tier, but as of right now, I feel like this is probably a relatively accurate tier list. I'd like to hear y'all's thoughts. So please comment down below. Let me know what you think. But I'm really excited for how this meta is going to develop in the coming weeks. But I appreciate you for sticking around. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And Jesus loves you. Farewell.